Whatever's in there has been safely hidden for 2,000 years. This isn't a tomb. It's a prison. Nick! The hieroglyph said she was named Amenet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. But her thirst for power led her down a darker path, one that had to be stopped.
Because of your actions, this ancient power has returned. You are alive because you were chosen.
Chosen? By what?
Evil. The ultimate evil.
Legend has it she's a being of unimaginable powers. Now she's using you to regain them.
Oh my God.
She will not stop until she has remade our world into her own.
Just stay with me.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Don't leave me.
You can't run. You can't escape. She's got plans for you.
I'm sure many of you will remember the movies that came out in the late 90s and early 2000s called The Mummy. It starred Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, and it had to do with the resurrection of a certain ancient character called Imhotep, and he had major destructive powers. And wouldn't you know, another movie of the same sort is coming out this summer. It is being done by Tom Cruise, and of course it's no surprise that he is high up in the Church of Scientology and most likely a very high-level Freemason, along with possibly being a Kabbalist as well. But there is a major push to get society to accept the fact that the ancient gods or the ancient powers are coming back. They are going to come and rule this world for a certain amount of time that Abba Yahweh will allow them or permit them to, because it has all been prophesied by the biblical prophets for millennia. We have been warned about this. The Luciferian elite know that this is coming. They know that their gods are coming. They believe they're going to have their golden age because they have been deceived by Lucifer, the fallen angel, who has deceived the entire world into believing that he is God. But if we look at even what this poster says for this movie, welcome to a new world of gods and monsters. So right in our faces, we are being shown the agenda blatantly, what I believe this movie is showing us. And if we look at what IMDb says, it basically says the same thing. An ancient princess is awakened from her crypt beneath the desert, bringing with her malevolence grown over millennia and terrors that defy human comprehension. So really, again, we are being shown in our faces what is going on here and what is about to come upon this world. And as always, I'm going to show you some screenshots and show you some internet articles, and hopefully you can see what I am trying to convey here, and possibly you will see the same things. And as always, please do your own research and look into this stuff for yourself. But of course, the trailer starts off with major Middle East war propaganda, which we will address later on at the end of this video. But I really believe they really want to keep the lie going of this war on terror. They want to keep this smokescreen going, because there really is no war on terror. There really is no Islamic terrorism and all this kind of nonsense. It is all a lie for what they are really up to. But if you're awake, then you definitely know that this war is nothing more than a ploy to advance the agenda. That's all all it's about. It is a means to an end. They are fooling the public as to what is truly going on. And later on, we see this pit opening up, and Tom Cruise plays a character named Nick, and his colleagues stumble across something in a pit. This particular pit just happens to open up, and right away you see this, what looks like a pagan god image in the ground there. So yet again, the very same theme of Revelation 9:11 and the opening of the pit or the abyss is being shown here. And Tom Cruise, or Nick, is shocked at what he is seeing. So what I really feel sad for these days is that churches have pastors, or the majority of them have pastors, who literally just refuse to teach Bible prophecy, and in my opinion are committing a grave mistake and a disservice to their people, because Yeshua Jesus said himself that we are hypocrites if we can determine the weather, but not the signs of the times. And that's from Matthew 16:1-4. Pastors and Christians need to study their Bibles. They need to be aware of what is being shown in these movies. The signs are everywhere that the end is coming, but sadly, the majority of churches want to go on in their prosperity gospels. They want to go on in their vacations and their material things, and thinking that life is all about blessing and having a good time. And not that those things are inherently bad, but they cannot wake up, or at least they don't want to wake up to what is being shown all the time through this propaganda. So I pray, it's one of my heart's desires to see people in the church wake up to what is being shown to us all the time. And as we keep going, one of the characters says, "This isn't a tomb, it's a prison." I believe we're possibly being shown the prison of the Nephilim/fallen angels who are about to be released out of the pit. I find it quite interesting that there are 5 statues of Anubis, and please excuse the typo, I said 3 here by accident, but 5 statues of Anubis. We know, according to Egyptian mythology, that Anubis is the god or keeper of the underworld, this dog-like character. But again, 5 statues, I think, denoting the 5th age, or the age of the gods that is about to come. And then we see this picture of Tom Cruise, who has just released this thing. He pulled out his gun and he shot this rope that was holding this coffin. And I found it quite interesting that he is named Nick in this movie. Do you know what significance is there about his name being Nick? It's quite fascinating when we look at an article that I've shown many times about Santa Claus. I know it might sound silly that I'm bringing up Santa Claus, but yet again, of course, his name just happens to be Saint Nick, and I will leave links to this article as well. But Nick just so happens to be, as shown here, Old Nick, a well-known British name of the devil, okay, or even in Dutch, Nicken, or the devil. So Nick actually is another way to represent Lucifer, Beelzebub, Satan. Good old Nick is really what is being shown here. So I wonder why Santa, or Satan, is also named Saint Nick. It makes more sense when you realize what Nick is actually all about. I also find it interesting that Yeshua says in the Revelation to the letters to the churches how he hates the practice of the Nicolaitans, so possibly where the term Nick is a short form of Nicolaitans, which is basically practices of devil worshippers. And Nick, as seen here, represents Satan, in my opinion, about to release the beast. And we'll see more why he possibly represents Satan, or all-out evil for that matter. And so then we see the next scene. This is the coffin that was held by ropes that Nick shot and released out of the water. Go figure, again, coming out of the water. So what exactly does Nick release? So when you check out the rays of the sun around this thing, it's an 11-pointed mummy coffin. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you got 11 rays. Many of us know who are awake that 11 signifies destruction. It is a number of all-out destruction. Notice also the fallen angel / sun god symbolism on the coffin, which is basically a number, or symbol of the sun god Ra. We've also got the same kind of thing with these rays of the sun on the Statue of Liberty, basically representing or showing Apollo, a male, cross-dressing as a female. Isis is what is being shown here. Pagan, mystery, Babylon, religion is exactly what the American gods are all about. These are the gods that the Luciferian elite of America and the world worship. And of course, the same symbol is shown on this coffin, the signature of the sun god Ra, right here on the coffin. And you've got the sun symbolism right on the head. So in my opinion, this is blatantly showing us the same theme of resurrection, that the false Messiah is about to appear. And it's the same thing that Revelation 13 says, why the people of the world will follow and worship this false Messiah, because they will think that he or she is a resurrected God. That is what I believe is coming, this resurrection, or this fake resurrection of this pagan deity, which is basically Nimrod, Tammuz, Isis, all of them. They are coming to rule this world for an permitted amount of time by Abba Yahweh, because of the judgment that is coming. And then later on, we see that the narrator says, or the person in the trailer says, the hieroglyphs said she was named Amenet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. So just who is this Amenet supposed to be? Is there any record of her? And sure enough, good old Wikipedia has some information here, and I'm sure you could see the same thing for yourself in different sources. But we see this very interesting picture of this deity, or this princess that is resurrected with this. Her eyeballs are able to split into four, so that is definitely not natural. Very evil stuff going on here. But Amenet, according to Wikipedia, was a primordial goddess in ancient Egyptian religion. She is a member of the Ogdod, and the consort of Amun. So right away, that should tell you something here, because Amun is a very interesting character, and we will see that in a bit, just who Amun is. And I'm sure many of you know already, or already thinking of Amun-Ra, which we will see in just a bit. But her name, meaning the female hidden one, was simply the feminine form of Amun's own name. So basically showing the duality, the male and the female in one being, in one character. So this Amun and Amenet are basically the same. The male version Amun, the female version Amenet. So basically the consort of Amun. And we will talk about this whole male-female consort later on, because you will see how much this all ties into what is literally being shown in our day and age. And if we go to who Amun is, of course, he was the major ancient Egyptian deity. He was attested since the Old Kingdom, together with his wife Amenet. Okay, so later on we see that after the rebellion of Thebes, Amun acquired national importance, expressed in his fusion with the sun god Ra as Amun-Ra or Amun-Re. So we can see that Amun or Amun-Ra or Amenet, this is all sun god worship. And many people know that Amun-Ra is basically one of the chief deities, or the chief deity of ancient Egyptian mythology. And lo and behold, he just happens to be identified with Zeus in Greece. So later on, as time went on, of course, the ancient Egyptians, they ruled the world for some time. Later on, the Babylonians, their version of the sun god was Nimrod or Marduk, or I believe that was the Sumerian version. And of course, we have that as well, Marduk, who is, according to the ancient Sumerians, and the name of the patron deity of the city of Babylon. So, basically Marduk to the Babylonians, Amun-Ra to the Egyptians, Zeus to the Greeks. I mean, you name it. All of these ancient religions have the same character, the sun god worship. And so the fact that he is a similar character to Zeus is known by the fact that he is associated with Jupiter. So we know that Jupiter is also associated with Zeus. It is known as the king planet, which we know, of course, there's no such thing as planets, but this is what they want to push onto us. But Jupiter is yet another pagan name for Zeus, or the sun god, or their pagan king. So what I find fascinating is when we look at the many names of Marduk, he just so happens to have names like Baal. Here we go. We'll show Sumerian Enlil, Nimrod. Okay, so this is where it all boils down to Nimrod. This is all different versions of Nimrod. We've got, as we keep going here, we'll see Osiris. Okay, you've got Osiris, their son, I believe, of Amun-Ra. We got Bel Marduk. We've got, as we keep going, we've got good old Zeus right here, Greek Zeus. So really, I'll leave links to all of this stuff. So all these same names is really one and the same thing. It is the same character that we keep getting shown over and over again. So Amenet, in my opinion, just so happens to be the female version of Amun-Ra, of Zeus, of Marduk, of Baal, which his consort, of course, was Ashtoreth. So it's the same thing, Mystery Babylon and her consort. So really, the age of the gods is coming, the fifth age, or the age of Aquarius. This is exactly what the Luciferian elites are waiting for. It is their golden age. This is what they are waiting for. We know that for a fact now from so many of these movies and TV shows, children's cartoons even, they show the same theme of resurrection of some ancient deity. This is definitely coming. And as we keep going, we see the narrator says, but her thirst for power led her down a darker path. So we see she basically has slit the king's throat. We can see the blood on her face there. So really, to me, is more blood sacrifice programming going on here. Just the same thing as we keep seeing in so many TV shows and movies. Of course, we've spoken about the Santa Clarita Diet many times in different videos and other TV shows and movies that show the same bloodlust and Baal practice and all this kind of thing. So really, this is nothing new. We are being shown this blatantly, and it's the same practices that Abba Yahweh forbid his people Israel to do, to follow the practices of Baal. And so, as always in these movies, evil is contained, and she's mummified to stop the problem. But the funny thing about mummies is that they always seem to come back. At least in these movies, they're constantly portrayed as coming back. So we're constantly being shown this death and resurrection theme in the movies and TV shows. Why is that? And I honestly believe that we are being told that the beast is going to rise again, that she is about to rise again. This male-female duality beast is definitely going to rise again. The Bible has prophesied this for millennia. This is what is about to come, because their fifth age, the age of the gods, is coming. Definitely, that is what is being shown here. This is what they are waiting for, the age of Aquarius, when all the gods come back, when they believe they're going to have their golden age, they're going to have their peace and harmony, and people are just going to bow down to these things, because this is what the devil wants. He wants to be worshipped along with his fallen angels. They all want to be worshipped as gods, and so they believe they are going to enlighten, as even in this picture you see many times the sixth chakra up in the mind. They're going to open the third eye. The mixing of the red and blue to make the purple, the opening of the third eye. This is what they want to bring onto humanity, is all out paganism, is all out devil worship and pagan religion. So this is what they want to do, and this is exactly what we're being shown constantly. And later on we see in the trailer, as they're in the plane transporting this thing, the character goes, because of your actions this ancient power has returned. Gee, that's just swell. Thanks a lot, Nick, for shooting this coffin and bringing this thing back to life. And so I also found it interesting. Notice the sun rays that just so happen to be hitting the coffin of Amenet. This is definitely no coincidence. We already talked about the fact that these lines here could possibly represent the rays of the sun. We see that in so much of different imagery, and so much of these pagan gods. We'll see the sun rays around them, or the halo, or this sun symbolism right behind their heads. So same kind of thing. This is more sun worship, Lucifer, devil worship that is being shown here, and that is about to come on the scene. And so Nick and his entire crew seemingly die due to crashing from the chaos unleashed on their plane. Sorry for the typo here, but are they really dead? Notice the 5 bodies also, again denoting, I believe, the fifth age, or the age of the gods that is to come. I believe, again, we're being shown the age of Aquarius that is about to come upon this world. And so later on we see in that same scene that suddenly Nick wakes up from the dead. Has he been resurrected? He gets told that he's alive because he was chosen, that he was literally chosen by evil. So, does this mean that Nick is now possessed by evil to do evil's work? Again, we're being shown a satanic death resurrection ritual here. Nick has been reborn. So it's quite fascinating that how we showed earlier that Nick just so happens to be another term for the devil or Satan, and now he is possessed by evil to do evil's work. So he has literally been reborn and chosen by evil, or should I say chosen by Satan, the devil, to literally possess him and to be reborn, to be used for, I would say, Satan's glory, for evil's glory, not for Abba Yahweh's, God the Father's glory at all whatsoever, because then we get shown this crazy picture like we saw before, this picture of Amenet and her eyeballs morphing into 4, which is very crazy already. And it says that legend has it that she's a being of unimaginable powers. Now she's using you to regain them. So Queen Amenet, the ultimate evil incarnate, is using Nick to regain her powers, or using the devil, Satan, ultimate evil, to regain her powers. So to me that sounds eerily similar to how Satan is using his Luciferian elite minions on this world to prepare everything for his and the beast's arrival. And I believe this is shown right in Daniel chapter 9, where it talks about the 70 weeks prophecy. And I find this verse quite fascinating. In verse 26, part of the verse says, "And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary," or in the CJB, "The people of a prince yet to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, but his end will come with a flood, and desolations are decreed until the war is over." So I believe when it says the people of the prince who is to come, this is the Illuminati, the Mystery Babylon religions, all of the Luciferian elites. These are the people of the prince who is to come, the beast and the false prophet, the dragon. Their people, which I believe, in my opinion, is the Illuminati, are the Luciferian elite, the world leaders, all the people behind the scenes pulling the strings and truly running this world. They are the people of the prince who is to come. I strongly believe this is what is going on, and this is what is being shown. If the fact that this Nick is now being used by basically Satan himself, ultimate evil, for this character to regain her powers, to me is cryptically telling us that the elite are basically the people of the prince, or people of the beast, the devil, that is making everything, making all the preparations for the beast that is coming. And then we get shown the scene, and we're being told that she will not stop until she has remade our world. So, where have we heard that before? I mean, honestly, how many times are we being told that the old world, or the world that we know it, is going to be destroyed? How many remember the movies like X-Men Apocalypse and even Captain America Winter Soldier? What did we get told in those movies? Can you remember? You remember that when X-Men Apocalypse, I find it funny that they made this meme of the same character, Aminet, and the character Apocalypse from the X-Men movie. What did he say himself? He said that we need to destroy the old world, that everything will fall, and we will make a better one. So he was totally putting it out there in that movie that they need to destroy the old world, or the world as we know it. They're going to tear down everything, rebuild, and make basically the age of the gods come. He was even calling himself Yahweh, Krishna, all these different gods, or names of gods. He even equated himself to Yahweh, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But of course, yet again, being told in our faces that they need to destroy the old world in order to bring in the new. And same thing in Captain America Winter Soldier. You'll remember the character that Robert Redford played. Many of us thought when we saw the movie that he was part of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the good guys, but basically he was all about destroying the world that we know it. He said in himself as one of his lines, where in order to make the new world, we need to destroy the old one. So really showing the duality, showing that our governments are definitely part of the plan, or being used to destroy this world in order to bring in the new. Just like all this war propaganda, they make it seem like they're doing humanity such a service, that they're protecting all of us from terrorism and all these, terrible things that are going on. But really, they are the ones that are causing it, and they are fooling people into believing that terrorism exists, when really it's the government that are the true terrorists, and the people that they fund and support. So really, they constantly show this theme of remaking the old world and bringing in the new. So even in this image, can you see Aminet's basic image in the destruction cloud? So she's remaking our world into her own, so we get told. So we are being blatantly told here that the age of the gods, or the age of Aquarius, or the fifth age is rapidly coming. The elites are totally waiting and are anticipating. They are giddily excited for their golden age that is coming. They want to destroy this world in order to bring in the new. They want to unleash these fallen angel, Nephilim, pagan god deities in order to do just that. And of course, Abba Yahweh is going to allow it for a certain time, because this world needs to be judged. And you may think that I'm very cruel in saying that, but in all honesty, when we see what is going on in this world, how evil the governments are, how evil many people have become in this world, this definitely needs to happen, because Yeshua HaMashiac has to come and rule this world. But before that, all-out destruction is definitely going to take place. It's not a good pile of news to say, but really that's what is coming. The age of the gods. This is what is constantly being shown to us, that that Lucifer wants to usher in the golden age, the age of his fallen angels, the age of their Nephilim offspring. They want to rule this world, and Abba Yahweh is going to allow that. Even if we look at the vision of Daniel in Daniel chapter 7, and talks about the final kingdom, and it says that the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. So really, the fact that it's going to be different from all other kingdoms, to me, denotes that it will literally be Satan and his fallen angels ruling this world. They're going to break it apart, exactly what Apocalypse said in X-Men, exactly what Robert Redford said in Captain America, exactly what is being shown here, that this Amunet is destroying the world. She's remaking it in order to bring in the new. So they are constantly showing us literally what the Bible has been saying for millennia, that they are going to devour and destroy the entire earth, trample it, and break it in pieces in order for them to have their fifth age. And of course, good old Isaiah 13, another passage we've shown many times from the Septuagint version. Isaiah 13 verse 3 says that I give command and I bring them. Giants are coming to fulfill my wrath, rejoicing at the same time and insulting. So these Nephilim giants, fallen angels, they are going to be rejoicing. They're going to have their time on earth again. Just as in the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. Exactly the words of Yeshua that were spoken to us in Matthew 24, in Luke 21, that these things are coming back. They are going to be permitted to come back very, very soon. And you know, this is also being shown as we talked about in that recent Mitsubishi commercial for their Outlander SUV. We saw the same thing in the commercial. As the vehicle is driving through, we see these crazy creatures coming out of the water or walking around. I believe this was like a mermaid kind of creature. They even showed another woman doing witchcraft, and she had snakes all over her head, literally like a Medusa. So all these Nephilim pagan deities. We saw the same kind of Baal, Nimrod imagery, this person, this half man, half bull. So really the same kind of thing, Nephilim, Nimrod imagery being shown in this movie. The fallen angels, the false gods are all going to return in this fifth age. This is what I believe we are being shown constantly in the movies. Even in the commercials we are being shown this. All right, so really this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. The same themes are being shown. And later on, Nick gets told that he can't run, he can't escape, that she's got big plans for him. So it looks to me that Lucifer has big plans for this world. Wouldn't you say? Is that the message to the entire world for what is coming? That Lucifer has big plans, that none of us or people that are going to be left here have nowhere to escape, that Lucifer has got big plans for this world, and there will be no escape from the judgment that is coming. So really, in my opinion, this is confirmed in 2 Thessalonians 2 and Revelation 3, because something big is definitely coming to this world. You know, that's shown as we see this Amunet destroying everything here. And we'll see if we go to 2 Thessalonians 2, which we've shown many times, right from verse 9, the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, and that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. You know, even I love how the CJB puts it, when this man who avoids Torah, so the commandments of God, the adversary will give him the power to work all kinds of false miracles, signs, and wonders. Okay, so these people who refuse the love of the truth, I believe this is showing that the rapture or the catching away of the bride has just happened. It talks about here that the restrainer needs to be taken away first. So I believe that is the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Abba Yahweh that is in his people, that is in the people of Yeshua. They will be taken away. All of those who are part of the body of Yeshua or the bride of Yeshua, we will be taken away. And I believe this will usher in the coming of the lawless one, and the judgment will come upon those who refused the love of the truth. This is why the great deception is coming, and exactly what is being shown in the Word of God. And later on in Revelation 3, we see from verse 10, because you have kept my command to persevere, I will also keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Same thing in the CJB, because you did obey my message about persevering, I will keep you from the time of trial coming upon the whole world to put the people living on earth to the test. So really, if they are being kept, I believe that is being completely blatantly honest in showing that Yeshua is coming for his people. He is going to keep his people from the hour of trial, from the tribulation, from the judgment that is coming upon this world. And the ones who are left behind, they will go through the test to see if whether they will put their trust and faith in the true God, in Abba Yahweh, in his son Yeshua, the way that he is made through the blood that Yeshua has shed for us when he died for us, and he is the one that has paid the penalty. So those who are ready, who have kept the command to persevere, they will be taken away from that. I fully believe that. I know that many people do not want to believe in the catching away of the bride or the rapture of Yeshua's people, but I honestly do believe it. I do not try to get into any arguments with people. You know, you are welcome to your opinion. If you do not want to believe in the rapture, that is your prerogative, but I honestly believe in that. But I am not here to argue about that as well. So if there are any comments made about the fact that people love to say that the rapture is false or a wrong doctrine, then, you know, you're entitled to your opinion, but I will not be participating in any debates about that topic, because in my mind it is completely settled. All right, so really this is exactly what we're being shown here, that the judgment is coming, the destroyer is coming. And, you know, as we look at some other things here, I find it interesting that there just happens to be a very special relationship between Kali and Shiva, basically the Hindu version of, I believe, of what all these pagan gods that we have been talking about, that Shiva is the silent, eternal, all-pervading aspect of the transcendental reality. Shiva is often depicted as spending years meditating unperturbed. Mother Kali is the dynamic aspect of the transcendental reality. Kali in Sanskrit literally means time, so chronos, all that same kind of thing. Kali is depicted as dancing on Shiva to illustrate the interaction between Shiva, the silent, all-pervading force, and Kali, the destroyer of time. Kali creates the cycles of time on the underlying structure of Shiva. Kali and Shiva are very close. They could be considered to be the yin and yang of creation. But here's what I find interesting. Mother Kali is the consort of Lord Shiva. So we just throw the same thing of Amunet and Amun-Ra. She is the consort of Amun-Ra. So same thing, the destroyer. We know that Shiva is the destroyer in Hindu mythology and Hindu religion, that Kali is his wife basically, and she is also the even more, I believe, destructive than Shiva. She even dances on her own husband and is completely the destroyer. Her and Shiva together are consorts. And so what just so happens to be the same image that is at the CERN facility in Switzerland. It just happens to be Shiva, the destroyer. Okay, so he's doing the dance of the Nataraja, talking about destruction. We know that CERN got the 666 right in the logo of CERN. So really the same kind of thing is being shown here, that the destroyer is coming, and CERN is working towards that. Exactly what Revelation 9 speaks of. Then the fifth angel sounded. I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like a smoke of a great furnace. Okay, and then later on, you see they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon, which means destroyer. Even according to the CJB, they had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in our language, destroyer. So same thing, Shiva, Kali, Amunet, Amun-Ra, these are the destroyers. They are coming to destroy this world, and CERN, I believe, is going to be the key. I find it quite fascinating when I saw, or possibly going to be the key, that there was this article that came out some time ago, and they literally gave this key for the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. These people, they look all gleeful and joyful at what they're doing. They possibly have no idea, or I'm sure the top people at CERN are definitely Luciferian elites, but the scientists that work there, they have no clue, I believe, what's going on here. Here's this key that they are being given. Here's a close-up of that key. Got the LHC right on there. This, to me, could totally represent the key of Revelation 9 that opens the shaft of the abyss, that ushers in the destroyer, Shiva, Kali, Amunet, Amun-Ra, Nimrod, Baal, whatever you want to call Isis, Ishtar, all these same destroyer gods, these pagan deities, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the dragon, the beast, they are going to be unleashed very, very soon upon this world. I believe the signs of the times are everywhere. So we please pay attention to all of this stuff. And, talking about the elites, I find it quite fascinating that good old David Rockefeller himself has made cryptic references to this. Many of you will know this quote of his, that some even believe that we, the Rockefeller family, are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty and I am proud of it. So he's already proud of that. But get this phrase, or get this saying: we are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the new world order. So really, the same kind of thing. All they need is the right major crisis. I really believe they want to usher in these pagan deities, their gods, the fallen angels, the nephilim that they worship. They want to usher in the right crisis. And wouldn't it be interesting that the proper crisis could be the unleashing of these pagan deities, of these fallen angels, satanic deities that will come and destroy this world in order to remake it for the age of the gods, for the fifth age, the age of Aquarius that is coming. So that could possibly be the right major crisis that will make the nations accept the new world order. And talking about the war propaganda that we spoke of earlier, I totally believe, or at least it's in my humble opinion, that all the wars that have been waged lately, whether it was Desert Storm, whether it was all this stuff in Afghanistan and all this stuff going on in the Middle East, I believe that all these wars are nothing more than a smokescreen, that the war on terror has been a smokescreen for what they are truly doing. I believe they are sending in the troops into these places to collect all of these relics, the DNA of Nimrod, Osiris, whatever you want to call them, so that they can have their resurrection moment and bring on the age of the gods. It is something that even Anthony Patch addresses in some of his interviews. Now, I don't agree with everything Patch speaks of, but he is, I think, right on the money when it comes to the resurrection of Nimrod, the resurrection of Osiris, and the fact that these wars have been basically more about pillaging and plundering the museums and the artifacts, the relics in these ancient parts of the world in the Middle East, in order for them to capture the DNA of Nimrod, in order to resurrect this guy, to bring about the beast. That is what I believe the beast will be, this resurrected version of Nimrod, of Tammuz, whatever you want to call him. That is definitely coming. So, as always, please do your own research. I do not claim to be an authority in any of this. I am merely just speaking out the things that I believe that Abba Yahweh, through his Ruach HaKodesh, his Spirit, and his Son Yeshua, are showing me, and I believe are showing to his people. The Word of God says that he who has ears to hear, let him hear what the Spirit, the Ruach, is saying to his people. So if this is truly what is coming, in my opinion, it is in line with biblical prophecy that the destroyer is about to be unleashed. And this is exactly what the elites want. So please do your own research. Do not believe anything that I say, but I strongly urge you and want you to look into the fact that possibly we are being shown that the destroyer is about to be unleashed on this world. CERN, Shiva, Kali, Amunet, Amun-Ra, all of these things are the same. Isis, Ishtar, Nimrod, Baal, all these things are coming. The dragon and his people are coming. The people of the prince are making all of the necessary arrangements in order for the dragon and the beast, the false prophet, Isis, Mystery Babylon, to be unleashed upon this world. So, as always, please be aware of what is being shown to us in plain sight. God bless you.
Imhotep.